Welcome into the OBR streaming network. Was that too loud for you, Jacob?
No, I'm just really weird.
Okay, jumped out of your skin there, guy. This is the All Eyes on Cleveland / pregame show. Browns on national television against the Steelers tonight in Cleveland at Huntington Bank Field. Time to get fired up, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a game tonight. We're going to talk all about it. We're going to hash through all the goings on. Good to see you all filing into the chat here tonight. And this should be an interesting one. The weather could be an issue. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, gusts up to 40 miles per hour, 37 degrees. Going to feel a lot colder than that. 90% chance of precipitation throughout at times during the game. Now, the question is, will that be rain or will it be snow? We don't know. That will be determined, and that could be a big factor as well. So, and then it's supposed to kind of get like warmer through the night, which is a little weird too. So maybe like snow early, rain later, which who knows, right? It's going to be wild. Wet, wild, windy, you know it. I have my esteemed panel with me here tonight to hash through all the issues. Thursday Night Case, follow him at Casey_Kinnamon on Twitter. Down below me to the right, Jacob Roach at Roachism13. And of course, across the pond on very little sleep, Jack Duffin at Jack Duffin. Gentlemen, how we feeling? Let's start with you, Case Dog. What's going on, brother? What's the good word?
Man, it's a night game. I love night games. I know some people don't like them. I don't look. We're used to being buried at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and we get used to that. But I like this. I like the attention, and I know they're underdogs in this, but in that lies opportunity, and they have the opportunity tonight to show the rest of the football viewing world that they're not as bad as their record indicates.
It's a great point. Jacob, what do you think, brother?
Well, there's snow outside. That's a thing that I didn't want to deal with at this time of the year, so I'm a little bit upset about that. But you know what? I will be honest with you. I woke up far more optimistic today than I expected myself to be. So that's where we're at.
Good to hear. Love that. Good vibes from Jacob. What's going on, Jack?
I'm good. Yeah.
Fired up.
The Winston passing game has been working for the last 3 weeks, so why not do it again?
Yes, agreed. What about the weather? Does the weather impact the Winston passing game?
It won't be as phenomenal probably as it's averaged the last 3 weeks. And to put into perspective how nuts it's been the last 3 weeks, that across a 17-game season schedule, you have to go back to 2013 Peyton Manning to beat the passing yards that he's putting up. He would have 3 1,000-yard wide receivers. Njoku would be like 960 something yards, so he's just off 1,000 yards. Those numbers are Hall of Fame level, if we're going to be honest.
Yes,
and yeah,
absolutely. Make sure you hit. Yeah. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and that notification bell so you know every time that we go live here on the OBR streaming network. It says All Eyes on Cleveland, but it's the pregame show too. We're doing it all together tonight as we get you ready for prime time football on Amazon Prime. But if you live locally, you can get it on Channel 5, ABC, WEWS. All right. We've got inactives already. Let's dive into the inactives. Did you get them right, Jack?
Not only did I get the inactives right, I got the practice squad elevations right.
It's beautiful. It's unbelievable. He's a specimen. He can't be stopped. Bailey Zappi, Dante Foreman, Jeff Swaim, Jed Wills, and Chigozie Anusium. I think that's the same as last week, right? Right down the line. I'm pretty sure.
So changes from last week. Darden plays.
Okay.
And obviously it's a
Whiteheart.
different Yeah, Whiteheart got elevated from the practice squad, so Swain's
Whitebeard getting the call up. We love when Whitebeard gets the call up.
And no Tony, right? Because Tony was an elevation last week.
Yeah. Kadarius Tony back. No Tony package tonight, right? So that's interesting. Guys, quick
good.
question.
We don't need to see it again.
Yeah, we didn't need that. Anyways, around the horn, and then we've got a little special video to play for you guys. But I wanted, before I do that, just to give some more time for people to get in here. It's, almost 300 here. We appreciate you guys showing up. If you're watching over on X, hop on over to youtube.com/Orange and Brown Report. Hit like, subscribe, hop in the chat, participate in the show. We appreciate all of you being here. Listen, will we see Justin Fields package in the red zone tonight? Case.
I mean, it's a sloppy weather game. I would anticipate after what Taysom Hill did to us, that if you got a player that's capable of doing any of those things, you have to try it.
Yeah, I thought so too. And he's kind of been. Has he been whining? What do you want to call that? He's been kind of saying stuff in the press, right? Like it's hard for me to tell when I don't know when I'm going in the game. He's hemming and hawing over there, I don't know. Maybe Mike Tomlin acquiesces to his comments and gets him in the game a little bit. You never know.
Probably up to Arthur Smith more than anything, but in his mind, he probably feels he was done a little dirty. He didn't do anything to really lose the gig, but you can't argue with results. And they've been 4-0 since Russell came in, going for 5, or is it 5 going for 6? They're going for the 6th win, but Russell's going for his 5th. That's what it is.
Yeah, they are 8-2, shockingly, at this point. And I didn't have that one on my bingo card. That one was not in the brochure for me. What do you think, Jacob? Package from Fields tonight.
Yeah, no, I think Casey touched on it. You'd be kind of silly not to do what the Saints did. At least try it. I'm not saying the Browns, fingers crossed that the Browns make some kind of adjustments and they look out for that sort of thing. But you kind of at least go out there and be like, hey, this dude just put 3 scores on you on the ground. And Justin Fields is quicker than that. He's a better runner than Taysom Hill is. Not to take things away from Taysom Hill. He's just not the athlete that Justin Fields is. So, yeah, I think I would do it early and often if I was them.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch out for, especially if the weather is super messy. Jack, what do you think?
I don't know if we'll see too much. Just looking at what he's done in past games, he's only had 3 snaps since week 6, and they were all against Baltimore in week 11. So I'm not sure what we'll see. I'd be tempted to do it, but it's a short week. If they had a lot longer, then maybe they'd throw in some more stuff. So I'm not sure we'll see too much. We'll probably see a few more moon balls from Russell Wilson to pick him.
Yeah, expecting a lot of that. We're going to get into all of that stuff here, game plans, what we expect, some of the things from last week that I'm a little concerned about going into this week. We'll talk about all of that stuff. But first, I want to show you guys a video. This is a video put together by our OBR, fantastic OBR marketing team. We're giving away 10 free VIP subscriptions and memberships. It's over the next 3 days. You have to get over to the front page of the OBR and follow those instructions. It's very easy to do. No credit card information needed. This is just an appreciation for you guys. And we want you to see what you get behind the paywall. A lot of Jack stuff, everybody's stuff. But there's a ton of stuff there. The forums, there's a whole community going on that if you're a Browns fan, we want you to be able to partake in if you've never had the chance to. This video just kind of gives you a little idea. If you just watch the shows, maybe we want you to get over to the site, or if you're just at the site, we want you to watch the shows. And this video right here, it kind of gives you a little idea about what the OBR is about, or we want it to be about. And Barry right there, basically, you just need to have a registered account and email him. And that's right there on the front page of theobr.com to do that. There is a link in the description below as well, taking you there. But here's this fantastically done video. You have until Monday at noon to register and email Barry.
It used to be flipped onto the end of your driveway. That's where you'd get your sports news, the latest on the Browns. The old sources just don't work anymore. Now it's all online, and you have to deal with trolls, bots, and aggregators who just fire off anything and everything to get your attention. There is, of course, an alternative. What's orange and brown and red all over. Heck, this alternative has been here since 1999, covering the team. Stacked with first-rate reporters who are at practice, in the locker room, working sources, breaking down film, crunching the numbers, evaluating prospects. It's all Browns all day, every day. All fueled by the most lively forums and Browns fan base anywhere. It's the OBR. Time to stuff your helmet with better stuff.
And
Beautifully
scene.
done video. Yeah. What were you going to say, Case?
Said and scene.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. That's what we're all about, baby. That's what we want you to be partake in. So get on over there, register, and get yourself a chance to win a VIP membership to the OBR so you can get the entire package. Get what it's all about, right? So let's do that. We've even got a little banner here. Throw that baby up there for 10 giveaway free VIP subs. All right. Thank you guys for watching. That is just fancy. You're right, Ty Sox. Good to see you. Jam-packed chat. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys all being here. There you go. You guys are great. You guys make the show what it is. So appreciate your participation as always. All right, let's dive into this one, ladies and gentlemen. My issue. I haven't really talked about it. I wrote about it this week. My issue, I commented on it to your guys' show the other night a little bit. You know, the Browns defense, I think they're still ranked 10th in the NFL somehow or something like that. I was reading today, but either way, the game plan from Jim Schwartz last week left a lot to be desired. Coming off a bye week, going against a offensive coordinator that you know a lot about, that you literally practiced the same offense against for 4 years, should have been very familiar with what the staples of a Clint Kubiak offense. What game plan is right, Philly? And thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Philly, you're a gentleman and a scholar. But Schwartz rolls out this, game plan, which, and Taysom Hill's only been around since like 1985, running the Wildcat or whatnot, right? So it's not like we didn't have time to get ready for him. And we act like you could have told me that they didn't know that he played for the Saints, and I would have believed you after watching the game. It's insane, and it was very, very frustrating to watch because this defense is better than that, and I didn't feel they were prepared. This is going to be a test tonight again. The Steelers know exactly who they are. They aren't like an crazy, explosive, potent offense. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play action and take some shots, right? That's what they want to do. But, their defense, they allow their defense to win them a lot of games. However, the offense has been much better with Russell Wilson, too. So you have to have a better plan tonight, right, Case?
Yeah, that game last week kind of reminded me of watching defenses face the '07 Dolphins for the first time,
Yeah.
and there was just
Yeah.
there was no answer, and
What
you knew
is
you're
this
going in that game with
Wildcat?
they had a limited skill set, being out of Olave and Shaheed, so you knew they basically had Kamara and they have Hill as far as weapons, and you were grossly underprepared. This game's gonna be a little different. Obviously, Arthur Smith loves to run the football, and their passing games simple but effective. They lean into Russell's skill set. It's going to be moon balls and checkdowns, and that going into it, he stays away from the middle of the field for the most part. But if you think even what Russell did to us last year playing the Broncos, he was able to get really good pre-snap recognition and knew where to go with the football and didn't keep the hold on the ball and put himself in harm's way. And he hurt us with his legs, if you guys remember. Not that he's the same player that he was, but he's the same player that he was last year, and he was able to do it then. So they know what they're facing. It'd be interesting to see how they approach it. I want to see Denzel on Pickens. I think that's because even though the weather's going to be bad, both these teams are still going to take their deep shots. They're still going to push the ball vertically. That's the only thing Russell knows how to do. So they need to limit Pickens' effectiveness on the boundary down the seams. So I'm interested to see how they approach that this evening.
Yes, Jacob, what do you think? Game plan tonight. How do you slow down this Steelers offense? They got two good backs. I am more fearful of Jalen Warren, to be honest, than I am Najee. But Najee's been getting it about 20 times a game. When I was doing my prop bet, research, he's been getting a lot of touches.
Yeah, after I think last year was not a great year for Najee by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's really played pretty well this year overall. But I thought in general the Browns have done a pretty good job against the run in a lot of situations. Maybe not the power right up the middle kind of stuff doesn't really work that well for them. But the thing that I had an issue with last week was the lack of adjustments. It wasn't even the game plan going into it, because you can say we didn't expect them to run Taysom Hill however many times, and that's probably accurate. You probably didn't expect the offense to be Taysom Hill in a cloud of dust. But then when it became that, you made absolutely no adjustments to it. I think when you start this game, you need to understand, we don't know what this weather is going to be like, so you need to be prepared to throw out what you prepared this week and make adjustments to what the team can adequately do. Casey, you talked about the moonshot. He's definitely going to take the moonshot, but if it's not there, okay, don't play off coverage. He's going to check the ball down, and if you're playing 5-10 yards deep on every play and they can't throw it vertically, what the hell are you doing? You be aware of the surroundings and make adjustments. And I don't even think you need to make crazy adjustments. It's just if they're going out there and it's like, hey, we're just running it right up the middle with Najee Harris, put somebody in there, put an extra person there, do something. Just be prepared to make adjustments once you find out what the field is adequately going to allow you to do.
Yeah. So, Jack, Jim Schwartz came here. He set this defense on fire. He had some adjusted coverages. They played a lot of man. They bring pressure. They knew who they were. They did what they did last year, and it's still effective at times. But the thing that got him in trouble at the end of his days in Philly before he went and spent some time in Tennessee was that he couldn't adjust, right, to what the NFL had figured out from watching film on his defense. Are we seeing this happen again in Cleveland? That's my concern, because he's just so stubborn sometimes, right? About and to give him some credit, it's not like the players have responded really well when he's asked them to communicate and get into other coverages and whatnot on the back end either. They failed multiple times with communication throughout the year. So, there was one game they played zone really well. I forget which game it was, but they, is this happening all over again? Is he being exposed for what's on tape?
I think if we look back to last year, there was 3 corners that all performed well. They weren't world beaters, but they all looked good. And this year we've got 1 corner that's playing well. And I think that's a large part of where the problem lies, that you've got to be able to cover multiple guys. It shouldn't be too bad this week that if you're running everything through Pickens and then suddenly it's like, hey, Delpit can match up with Fryermuth, you should be able to stop a lot of what they're doing. Part of the frustration for me is it seems like the game plans always just stick Ward on one side of the field. So if Pickens crosses over, then we're not doing anything about it. And that sort of philosophy drives me mad. They've got one potent wide receiver, so deal with it. Don't start going, left and right and all that nonsense in my eyes. It's like, if they had two really good guys, if we were talking about like the Eagles, even the sort of Bengals, that aspect, if it's T. Higgins and Chase, it's not like you've got a star and then a whatever piece. I think they've just got to go shut Pickens down. If they shut Pickens down, then there shouldn't be much going on. And I think everyone else then plays a lot better. The linebackers, it was grim on Sunday. But overall with the season, they've played well. The D-line's done a good enough job. Delpit's been good. Thornhill hasn't been as bad as people would make out. They're going to upgrade and move off from that at the end of the season. But I think the corners for me is where the biggest problems have been this year.
Okay. I was going to answer your question there. Barry got it. It's supposed to be on Channel 5 there, Zook. So, Casey, and thank you guys for watching. You're watching the OBR streaming network. Keep it locked here. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Pizza is here, says Drew. Yes, everybody getting food ordered up, getting ready for this one. All right. Week 12, this is a weird one for the Steelers. They play 5 divisional games in their next 7. We get them twice in 2 weeks, I believe. I think we get them this week. We go, and Hard Knocks, I believe, will be in the building starting next week, just FYI, unless Fred knows differently. I believe they start filming.
I thought they were already there.
I heard somebody say that. So I have a guy that works there. He said they were starting for the Denver week. I could be wrong. Maybe I might be wrong. I'll find out. But that's what's going on. Fred Greetham, the legend, the man, the myth. Follow him on Twitter at Fred Greetham9 at the stadium. What's going on? What's the weather like, Fred? What do you know, man?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've been watching you for about 20 minutes, but I just thought I'd get on here because I have to go in a couple minutes. So it looks fine to me. I mean, before I came over here about 15 minutes ago, it looked clear. I mean, I didn't see any precipitation or really the flags or anything going bad. So I didn't look game time, but seems fine. It was snowing and blowing when I was coming in, but it didn't look too bad out there. As far as the Hard Knocks, they were in Berea Tuesday, but it was NFL Films. They were getting ready for tonight's game, not Hard Knocks.
Okay.
That starts December 3rd, but they'll start doing filming, I think. But the guy I talked to on their crew said they were here for the Thursday night game. Anyway, I heard a little bit of what Jack said. You talk about the defensive breakdowns. Maybe I'm simplistic, but instead of relying on a safety to pick up somebody, why don't you say, Denzel, you just cover number 14 wherever he goes, or whoever that was. Every week, I don't understand these communication breakdowns. You like to play man to man, just play man to man, unless you just don't think the other guys can cover them. But it's not working. But yeah, I think the mood here tonight is just a 2-8. It's kind of hard to get up. This is a big game, I think, for the fans, and I think it's a big chance for the Browns to at least salvage something with the season and measure up really where they're at. 4 of their final 7 games are in the AFC North. If you get blown out by all these games, then you say, okay, you're really have some major things to do. But if you can have a good showing and play these teams and beat these teams, maybe you, instead of a mass rebuild, maybe you think we can just kind of turn and pivot. So I think these are important games, and I think especially when you play the Steelers at home, the Browns have done well at home with the Steelers in the past. But then you go to Denver, which has been a house of horrors on Monday night. And then you go to Pittsburgh, which has been a house of horrors. Usually it's the last game of the year. I've been over there so many times where they fire the head coach, after the game. And, it's just like, I really think this is your best chance to avoid a long losing streak. And you look at the woulda, shoulda, coulda. I look at the Steelers. You talk about the Browns being offensive challenged. 5 of their games, they haven't scored over 20 points, and yet they won 4 of those because their defense is playing like we were expecting the Browns defense to play, and the special teams. You were expecting the Browns defense to keep you in games until the offense figured it out, as well as the special teams. And they have really let them down here in recent weeks. So, I think it's a gut check time to see really what these guys, what their mindset is going into the season, because with 7 games, a lot of games. And you go out here and just play like you did last week, it's going to be a long final month and a half.
Totally agree. Well said, Fred. As far as facing this Steelers defense, they will blitz 38.3% on third down. They want to get after Winston when he throws. They want to make the Browns one-dimensional. They want to make Winston throw to beat you because they like their corners and whatnot. So they're going to try to take away the run game. At least that's the feeling I get. What do you think, Fred, as the Browns' offensive attack with weather and everything tonight, and how do you slow down the pass rush from the Steelers?
Well, you'd like to see Nick Chubb in his first, game back against the Steelers to just have one of those breakout games. But yeah, I think that you've said it. The Steelers do a great job of dragging you into their game. That 13-10, snug it out, kick a field goal to win the game type thing. I mean, they've won 2 games without even scoring a touchdown. So that really puts it on the Browns offense, who has struggled. And you got Jermaine Ifedi starting at left tackle. We haven't seen the tackles bode well against TJ Watt. Now they're getting a break with Highsmith out, but they've got several other guys that come after you. They just kind of keep coming. So I really think it's incumbent for Winston to put together back-to-back good games. We saw the good game, bad game, then another good game. And if you look back at that Chargers game, it wasn't so bad. It's just that the defense let up early. They got behind like 20-3 between the special teams and the defense, and then that doesn't play to his strong suit. Throwing, when he's throwing every down, the interceptions that ensued. So I really think the Browns need to try to get ahead and get the Steelers from playing from behind, because they just don't like those type games. They like to dictate the tempo and get you into one of those slugfest games. So I think the Browns, their best chance is to try to go after that secondary, quick hits, get the ball out, and see if you can get some explosive plays.
I wanted to ask you this before, while I still have you, Fred. This part of this game that scares me tremendously is the special teams, right? We know that the Steelers have been good at blocking kicks, blocking punts. They scheme this stuff up. They find a weakness. They go after you to try to make a big play on special teams. The Browns have been giving up some big plays on special teams. Is there any kind of referendum you're aware of with Bubba Ventrone on them slowing down some of these kick returns? What did he have to say this week? And can we expect some improvement there?
Well, because of the short week, we only had Tuesday, and none of the coordinators were available.
Sure.
We just talked to the head coach. And so, yeah, that's really been a weak spot. That was supposed to be why you made the move,
Yeah.
You could argue the Bengals game, the game was over in the first play. The Browns never really could catch up till garbage time with that Bengals. And the Chargers got jump-started with their 53-yard punt returner. That's when they took off. And last week, the Browns still had a chance until that late punt return, which put the game away. So I have to think Bubba Ventrone feels the heat, and they're going to do whatever they can, to not be the weak link. Not only there, you got Dustin Hopkins, who, it's kind of like a hitter in baseball. You're in a slump. It's hard to, you're thinking about it. And I saw him before the game, and he wasn't really putting them through that consistently, with nobody rushing. So it will be interesting to see if he can just shake that off, because this is the type of game the Boswell doesn't miss. I mean, that's one kicker that hits them all. And if you get into a game like that with a field goal duel, you're going to need Dustin Hopkins to come through.
Jeff in the chat saying weather people saying snow is on the way. So bundle up there, Fred.
Not for me, man.
Not for you. Yeah, you'll be safe and sound, right? And warm. All right. Good stuff, Fred. Anything else?
Nope. It's time for the Browns, kind of a gut check, at home, national TV. Are you going to go out there and put your best foot forward, or are you going to just, do what you did in the fourth quarter and just kind of give up? That's what it seemed like last week. So I think it's on them. The Steelers, you see what they did just by getting better quarterback play, and that team, is 8-2. The Browns, I argue the first 7 games really cost them the season, because they just wouldn't switch or even try a relief pitcher or anything. They could have won a couple of those games, and you realistically would still be playing for something if you just won 2 games. So anyway, we'll see what happens tonight. It'll be gut check time, in my opinion. So good talking to you guys.
Thank you, as always, Fred. Follow him on Twitter, the legend, Fred Greetham, at Fred Greetham9. Thank you for stopping by from the stadium with the report and the great insight. All right, Barry makes a great point in the chat, Casey. Schwartz is so dependent on a fierce pass rush. When it doesn't happen, his defense really struggles. 6 pressures last week. That's inexcusable, and it just won't get it done for this defense tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's the engine that drives the defense, and you don't have to rely on your guys to play that sticky of a man for too long. It speeds up the process, and it allows them not to be exposed so much in coverage. And when you don't get pressure, then those long crossers, those when those start to come into play, and that's when you start to see things get gashed open. It tests your discipline, which is what the Saints did last week with a lot of misdirection. So you got to get fast pressure. And you got the people to do it. There's no excuse to not have pressure when you have and you've really engineered your defensive line for pass rush as opposed to stopping the run. So that's the key to everything, is winning the line of scrimmage, in my mind. With the Steelers, when it comes to the Steelers, you got to match their physicality. And that's on both sides of the line of scrimmage. And defense, they need to pick it up on the defensive line, because if they don't go, then this defense just falls apart.
Yeah, and Philly making also a great point. Plus, this scheme isn't fooling. You're not going to fool Russell Wilson with this scheme, right? He's going to get it out quick like he did last year. You mentioned the Denver game. He knows where to go with the football when he's getting blitzed, if you're going to try to get exotic and things like that, which they may need to blitz to generate pressure. I mean, they've had to do that recently, Yeah. I was looking at both teams' blitz rates. I mean, both teams are good at getting pressure as a whole. Pittsburgh pass rush win rate 46%, 5th in the NFL. Browns 47%, 4th in the NFL. They both like to blitz. The question now, let's turn sides of the ball. Thank you guys for watching the All Eyes on Cleveland / pregame show as we get you ready for Steelers and Browns. Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. Jermaine Ifedi starting on the left side. And what do you expect, Jacob, offensively? How are you going to slow down this defense? How are you going to beat this defense? Can you think you can run the ball on this team or not? Feels like their weakness for me is more in the secondary. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. And it's a Chubb revenge spot. I'm coming to you next, Jack. So stay awake there, brother. I know you're getting tired.
He's got the look on it. I thought that recently, especially last week, think the Browns have kind of ran the ball a lot better than I think they're kind of getting credit for. And a lot of that's being lost in kind of the fact that going into the second half of the game and then the fourth quarter last week, starting to have to throw the ball a ton as they start to fall behind. And so, I mean, they've been effective, I think, when they've ran the ball recently. Jermaine Ifedi, I thought he played well last week. Those are the only snaps he's had at left tackle outside of like 4 snaps last year in Atlanta in a regular season game. It's big for them that Alex Highsmith is not playing in this game. They still got Preston Smith and, other guys, Nick Herbig, one of my favorite draft prospects a couple of years ago. So there's and Herbig is coming off of 4 sacks in 4 games. So it's a big to do tonight. It's going to be one of those things where, you elevated Whitebeard, and I think you put him over there and you get some help for I thought I could get through it without laughing about it, but I couldn't. You got to help Ifedi, I think, because you really got to give Winston some time, because if he's got some time, you're right. I think that secondary, if there is a weak point, I think you can attack there. And man, do I want to see Nick Chubb meet Minka Fitzpatrick in the open field just one time. Just that's it. Just a little bit of selfishness on my part.
He's going to be fired up, Chubb, in this one. Can they give him some room to run tonight, Jack? That's the question. Whitebeard, I don't know if he can, but here's my plan would be this, guys. I would be keeping everybody in tonight just to give your guys time to run routes. I don't care if you're sending 2 wide receivers out. I'm keeping everybody in. I'm trying to keep Winston upright long enough to give your guys a chance to win. I believe in my receivers to get separation. If it has to be 2, 3 guys, I'm keeping tight ends in. I'm keeping extra guys in. I'm playing heavy package football, even in the passing game. I don't know if they'll do it that way. I don't know if that's in Dorsey's blood to do it that way. But we saw them do that against the Ravens a little bit, and it worked quite a bit. What do you think we see from the offense tonight, Jack? Can Chubb get loose?
I expect Chubb to put up some decent numbers. I think they've probably had this marked on the calendar as the let him go game. Obviously, if we get into the sort of second half and it's not close, then they'll probably drop that back down. But he's got some decent time to recover after it. And it's important for his career. If he wants to earn money this offseason, he needs to ramp up those snaps and those rushing attempts, because he's not going to get paid very much if this same sort of level continues through the rest of the year. So that's a big factor, not just like his efficiency, but can he deal with volume? But I'm the opposite. I think get the ball out quickly, let it fly, get more receivers open, because if Njoku just chip blocks and runs a route, then you've got 4 guys that he can throw to, and he's shown as a quarterback, Winston, that he's willing to throw at several guys. And that is horrendous if you're on the defensive side trying to, well, what do you prepare for? We're sat here going, hey, you just mark Pickens and it's not too bad. Yes, there's not sort of an elite receiver in this group, but with Judy, Moore, Tillman, Njoku, that's a lot of mouths that you can throw the ball at. And Stefanski's done a great job his time sort of with the team of scheming guys open. No reason that should stop today.
Case, what's your belief in this offensive game plan tonight? Will they be able to run it? Will Chubb get loose? And, where are you at with trying to slow down Watt, Herbig in this pass rush?
It'll be interesting to see how they deploy Watt. Typically, he faces a lot of right tackles, and he's feasted against the Browns in 12 games. He has 17 sacks and 46 solo tackles. Obviously, scoop and scores. We've seen some ugly stuff, but he's played 2 games against Jack Conklin since Jack's been in Cleveland. He has 1 sack over the course of those 2 games. And with Fetty going over to left and Highsmith being out, they move him more, get him over there because Smith can move up and down the line, and Herbig's used to going over right tackles as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they deploy him, and you have to account for him. He makes so many plays. I do think you need to give a running game just to keep the pass rush at bay. You got to try. You can't just go away from it altogether, no matter your success rate, just because they'll tee off, man. And Cam Hayward is Cam Hayward again. We've seen a decline in play after the injury last year. And you think of a player of his age, at his size, at some point it falls apart. Well, he's right back at it this year. So you have to account for him collapsing the pocket from the middle. Keanu Benton, they're dangerous up front. So you'd love to see this running game get going. It'd be massive to see Nick break a few. And I'm with Jacob, man. Yeah, I'd like to see him take Mink out of his shoes at least one time. But this is going to be moon balls versus turkey hole shots. Yeah, I think is what it's going to come down to. Whichever team can hit the bigger plays, and it might just be a handful of them. But if Vegas even thinks scoring is going to be down. I think this game opened up around 42, and it's around 36 now for the over/under. So scoring is going to be at a premium. Whichever team can capitalize on the most big plays, I think comes out on top in this.
White beard in the turkey hole. That's the winner, right? That's how you get there. That's what Chris said in the chat. I believe that to be. If you can get Whitebeard in the turkey hole, you're looking good for this one, ladies and gentlemen. All right. If you want to be looking good in general, if you want to be looking good, Core Home Fitness, baby. You can find them at corehomefitness.com. Check out their assortment of lifting equipment, especially their top-rated adjustable dumbbells. I think I'm doing this thing, guys. I think I'm ordering. I think I'm doing it. I think I'm going to get huge. You're going to see, man, I'm going to be massive. And, they are top-rated by New York Times, Men's Health, Best Buy by Consumer Reports. For the known for the dumbbells, but I was looking at the website. You can get benches, you can get the entire, everything you need, mats, all of it. Yes, world's fastest. I'm gonna get swole AF. There's one of the benches there, inclines, lays flat, and there's the dumbbells in the background. But yeah, corehomefitness.com. Check out their videos. They have other products like the Glute Drive Plus and Fight Master. Crush your goals in 24, especially, going into 2025, making that New Year's resolution, to get fit, right? This is how you do it right here. Core Home Fitness can be your pathway to that. They've got a U.S.-based support team, fast shipping, hassle-free returns, you name it. They know what they're doing. Again, check out corehomefitness.com for the ultimate in-home fitness equipment. They have stepped up to sponsor the OBR, and we are so glad that they've done so, and we appreciate them as a sponsor of the show. Jack, is it 2 a.m. there? World's Fastest wants to know.
You're muted.
Approaching 1 a.m. here.
1 a.m. 1 a.m. You're a gentleman and a scholar, a good sport. 539 people tuning in right now to the All Eyes on Cleveland pregame show. For you guys looking alive here as we get ready for this one. It's massive, guys. Listen, this is an important game. You don't want to, I mentioned this the other night, you don't want to embarrass Jimmy.
No.
You don't want him to feel some sort of way coming out of a Pittsburgh game. That's when he gets dangerous. If you are in support of keeping these guys, you know what I mean, around. I know a lot of you aren't, but he tends to make decisions we've seen in the past after Pittsburgh games when he feels embarrassed. You're on national TV for the first time all year. You've got Hard Knocks coming up. These are all situations where the Browns need to be careful not to embarrass themselves, Jack, because who knows what Jimmy can do. And I know you want Andrew Berry around. So talk about that for a minute.
Well, it was interesting, the reports that came out today. First, it was Adam Schefter, and then it was Ian Rappaport basically saying, if you think Kevin Stefanski's going anywhere, you're nuts, was basically the line. Rappaport went a lot further than Schefter did, that just says, what on earth are you people chatting about? And it's good to see that, look, this season hasn't been good enough, but also, do we look at the 49ers and think, hey, they used 3 first-round picks on Trey Lance, let's fire everyone because those people need to be held accountable? Or do you go, actually, they sucked a bit with Jimmy Garoppolo, had a couple of rough seasons with poor records as well. You don't find many great people around to run an organization, and everyone's in lockstep, making overall smart decisions. Like the vast majority of their trades outside the Watson one has been really, really good. So no, I think they're in a good spot, and I'm excited about the future. I've written some pieces about what they can do. I actually started drafting one today. It won't go out for a couple of weeks, but just on that blow it up idea, and just, hey, it'll be ugly for 2 years. And some people do want that, of just like, let's bury our head in the sand and cry every Sunday that we lose every game. And in 2 years' time, hey, it'll be better. But no, it's trust the process, trust the guys, and I think it's a good pair to take us into 2025. I think expectations should be the playoffs next year.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. All right, just wanted to mention that, just because Jimmy gets dangerous if he gets embarrassed. All right, let's go. Let's do this. We're winding down. We're getting closer to 8:00 here. Let's go around the horn. Give me some analysis, and let's give me a prediction from all of you guys before we get out of here. Let everybody get comfortable before this. Settle in with your loved ones, your cocktails, your food, whatever you're gonna engage in tonight. And somebody take Jimmy's cell. I agree, Barry. Somebody take his phone from him if this gets ugly. All right. Thursday night football, Browns Steelers. Doesn't get any better. Throw the records out the window. It's a rivalry game. What do you got for me, Case Dog?
If you're going to beat the Steelers tonight, it's going to take your first full complimentary game of football, which is what the Steelers do. Like, if you just look at it, it's all 3 phases. And even when their offense isn't firing on all cylinders, they're not turning the ball over. This is a team that is second in the league in turnover differential. They give their defense time off the field, keep them rested, don't give the ball away. Even if they haven't scored up to 25 times yet, they've got 8 wins. What does that tell you? It's all the way around. That's what you need to do. You need to match that. You need to match their physicality. That's what it comes down to, man. You have to take advantage when you get in the red zone. It's got to be 6s and not 3s. You got to make those count. Scoring is going to be at a premium. Who knows how much the weather is going to affect this. And I am pulling for a big Nick Chubb game. I'm saying 75 yards total offense and a touchdown. And if it's going to be ugly towards the end, but I think 22-19 Browns.
Ooh.
You start getting excited. Good job, Case. All right, what do you got for me, Jacob? A little analysis, what it takes to get a win, and give me a score, brother.
So I have been one of the people that have advocated that there are reasons to fire Stefanski and bring him back. But this is a big game if he – not even a win, a big game if he can show that he can rally the troops after an embarrassing loss on a short week at home against a division rival. This is where a good head coach steps up. Like, get your guys on. Forget about that. You got embarrassed. I get it. It happens. All right. You're at home. Rally the troops. Let Nick Chubb run all over him. I'm going to take a Nick Chubb first touchdown score prop bet. I don't know. That's just something you could throw out there if you wanted. I'm going to take a Nick Chubb as the first touchdown score tonight. It's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be ugly. Running the football, a lot of punting, maybe some turnovers and things. I wish I was more optimistic, but I'll take 18-16 Steelers.
Okay. Jack Duffin?
I might be wrong when I see the first drive and the weather's probably worse than I expect it to be, but I think both teams go over 20 tonight. I think there'll be points. I think it will be a lot of field goals, probably just one touchdown for the Steelers. And if they limit them to one touchdown and it's just field goals, then they're certainly in competition to win the game, the Browns. Part of me wants the Browns just to play well, but then I don't mind if we lose by like 1 or 2, just because that it helps the draft position and long live the process. But it's one that you get a couple of wins and suddenly you're picking 10th rather than 2nd. It's incredible the level of parity in the league. So I think they're going to look to get Chubb some runs, even though I would just lean on the pass game and keep slinging it. Because, yeah, worst case scenario, you get a Jameis Winston interception. The ball's gone 40 yards downfield. Who really cares in the grand scheme of it at that point? So, keep airing it, get down the field, and just constantly move the sticks. And worst case scenario, punt it away. As long as the special's doing a better job, it'll be a positive one.
I mean, listen, this is an important game in that you don't let this thing start to really spiral out of control. And if you're an advocate of keeping a guy like Stefanski and Barry around you, you want them to at least look good in this game and competent, right? This can't get out of hand. Now, like I said before, I'm keeping guys in. I'm trying to isolate routes down the field with Judy and Moore and Tillman, especially, and use Njoku as a quick outlet. But like, this is a situation where I am not taking the chance to let them get a ton of pressure on them. I'm keeping guys in. I'm trying to keep him clean, trying to keep him upright and give him time to throw the ball down the field. I'm playing heavy football. I don't know what they will need to do to get the run game going. It's been an issue all year. But you said it earlier, Case, or one of you guys said it. You can't give up on it, no matter what. Even if it's bad, you have to have the threat. You still have to keep putting the ball in Chubb's belly and Ford. I know Jax doesn't agree, but you still have to, in this game especially, just because you can't have them teeing off. The pre-snap penalties have been down. We talked about that the other night a little bit. I mentioned it. It's like 4 and 3 penalties total the last 2 weeks since they made the change at OC. Keep those down. Stay ahead of the sticks. 3rd and long is your nightmare here, right? So that's the game plan. Defensively, I actually think they'll play better in this game. The Steelers aren't gonna change all that much who they are, and I don't think Arthur Smith is going to change who he is that much. So I think what you prepare for is what you get. They just kind of want to beat you man on man, Jimmy's and Joe's against Jimmy's and Joe's. It's not so much the chess match that some other offensive coordinators will give you. But I expect it to be an interesting game. I have the Browns losing by 3, but I hope I am dead wrong. So go Brownies. I think it'll be a good one. Could turn into a whiteout. Keep your eyes on it. Keep your loved ones close if this gets out of hand. Protect the women and children. You feel me? All right. You guys are great. For everybody at the OBR, go over to the front page, register, send Barry an email. It's going across the bottom of the screen right now, giving away 10 free VIP subs. Go Browns, baby. You start getting excited. For Casey Kinnamon, Jacob Roach, and Jack Duffin, looking very sleepy these late moments. Go Browns, and hit like and subscribe, and we will see you after the game late night, breaking it all down for you like nobody else can here on the OBR. We are out.